Hello everyone and welcome, it's Shanna. Now today we're working with Spellbinder's Stitched Holiday Tree. And I'm just laying out all the pieces here and kind of showing you what we've got. And I've got the printout from the website that shows you the actual picture. And you can see how these layer inside of each other, the different layers of the tree, and you've got to lay them together so that it'll cut it out. Now I am bringing in some dark green suede paper, I don't know, material that I'm going to die cut out my tree from. And I'm going to use mostly suede paper. In fact, all suede paper on this tree. And so I'm just going to get laid down on my scalp and get the edges lined up in there to where I've got a decent edge around there. And then we'll run it through the scalp machine. And I'm going to run it through 2 passes because at first I'm not sure how much pressure it'll take to cut through the suede. And I'll later find out that 1 press is sufficient because some of the thinner pieces I'll have to redo because 2 passes will tear it up. But anyway, it cut beautifully, and I've got all my little stitched holes there and everything that I need. And I'm going to save that green just in case I have some other stuff I want to cut out. And then I'm going to bring in some other colors for the decorations that go on the tree. So I've got this real deep red that I think is very pretty. I actually used this on St. Nick's coat when I used it the last time. And I'm going to lay some of the pieces, actually the decorative piece that goes on top. You've got like a base layer, and then you've got like a decorative layer that's going to go on top. And so I'm using the red for the decorative layer, and I'm just trying to make sure I've got the right dyes laid down on there. Because one of them is the shadow dye and the other is the decorative layer. And so I'm going to lay the decorative layer on the red, and I'm going to bring in some of this black suede and put the shadow layer on it, and we'll get it laid down. And then I'm also going to put there's 3 layers to the star. So I'm going to put the base layer in the black, and then I'm going to put the middle layer in green, and then the top layer in red, I believe is what I do. And then we'll just die cut all this. So I'm going to bring in that scrap that I just used, and I'm going to die cut the middle layer of the star out of this green felt as well, or suede. I don't know why I keep wanting to call it felt. It is suede. Anyway, so we'll get this, and this is where I'll run 2 presses on this, and some of those smaller pieces, I think it might have moved too, but some of these smaller pieces, running 2 passes through was too much, so I'll have to die cut out a couple more once I realize what has happened, and I'm just running it back through. So we'll get these pulled apart, and they cut really nice, and so I'm just poking the centers out of them, and that piece was great. The other 2 smaller pieces, they kind of got messed up. I was saving these circular pieces because I thought these would be great balls for Christmas ornaments for maybe another project. I didn't use them on this one. And this is where I'm popping these out, and I had some edges that were kind of messed up on it, and so I decided that I'll redo my red, the 2 smaller red ones. And the green ones, they did just fine. They're more the shadow dye, and they die cut out just fine. And I'm just trying to get all these circular pieces off of here. And then the black, the base layer, the shadow layer turned out really good. So I'm going to push all these little circular pieces off, just saving them, thinking about Christmas ornaments on a Christmas tree later. And I'm cleaning off that mat, and I'm going to bring in those dies that I need to run through again, which were the smallest middle decorative layer and then the outside of the star. And I'm just going to bring in some more red and go ahead and die cut those out as well. And then we'll have all of the pieces that we need to assemble our card. So it continues to be extremely muggy here. I mean, when you walk outside, it feels like you're in a sauna. And we're supposed to might get a little storm here in a little bit. So it's looking pretty gray. And I think we're going to have a storm here in a little bit. But otherwise, today was a pretty quiet day. In fact, it's starting to sprinkle right now. So, but otherwise, it was a pretty quiet day. I had the boys today. They were really tired. They were kind of worn out, I think probably from the weekend and yesterday, and so they were wanting to nap, and my oldest grandson, who's 3, who loves to ride his scooter, rode the scooter a couple different times today, and we did that, and that was fun. But tomorrow will be school will be starting, so that'll kind of change my schedule a little bit. I'll just have one of the boys during the morning, and then the other one will be at school. So we'll see how that goes. It's going to be a transition for all of us, but anyway, so I'm just getting all my die pieces put away so that I don't lose any of them. And I've got all my pieces here, and I'm ready to start working on my assembly. So this is a stitched die. So I'm bringing in, and I zoomed in, and part of it you won't be able to see, but I brought in some of my floss, and I just split it to where I have three threads on this and 3 threads on the other one. And I'm kind of off camera. I zoomed in because I wanted you to be able to see it. Right now I'm kind of off camera, but I left it in because I want to just show you how I kind of get it started. I just take some double-sided tape and just lay down on that first stitch. And I pulled it out, so I'll have to run it back through again. But I'll just lay it down, and then I'll put some double-sided tape on there just to hold it. I'm not going to tie a knot or anything like that and put a bump underneath it. I'll just lay that double-sided tape on there, and then I'm all ready to stitch. And this first one, I'll do all of it so you can see. And you basically just stitch from that top circle down to all the bottom circles. And then when you get to the next layers, there's actually 2 circles per top stitch, and then there's another top stitch. So it's a little bit different. But I went ahead and left this in just so you could see the stitching, try to do like a close-up and show you. But it's really fairly simple. And it's actually kind of relaxing. So I'm just going to get it all stitched up, and then I'll go off camera and stitch the other 2 layers because I personally don't think you'll want to watch all that. And then I'm just going to bring in another piece of the double-sided tape. Make sure I get it good and tight so that my stitch is laying nice and tight on the front of it. And that's pretty much how you do it, quick and easy, and just kind of give you a quick glimpse of it. Now, I have done the other 3 off camera. They're all ready to go. And I'm ready to start assembling my decorative pieces. So I will just put a little bit of glue on the back side of the decorative piece, and then I'll lay it down on the shadow piece. And I just lightly squeeze that trigger, and I don't hold it. I just squeeze a little bit out and then kind of blot it, and then lay it down, because if you hold it, you're going to get a bunch of glue come out, and then you're going to have a gluey mess on your suede, and I didn't want that. I was trying to keep it as clean as I could, and I was really happy because I did have good results with it. So that's the top layer, and we'll just do the middle layer next. It's just a repeat of the same thing, light glue. I will use my finger in instances when I get bigger globs on there just to kind of wipe it off so that I don't make a mess, but it all comes together very nice, and I was really pleased in using this suede with this design. I think it turned out really nice. So we'll get this laid down, and then we'll do the largest, and then we'll get them laid down on each layer of our tree, and then we'll connect our tree together. And you can see those other pieces are the star. We've got the base layer, the middle layer, and then the top layer. And we'll assemble those as well. Alrighty, just run my finger across there, pick up any extra glue, wipe my hand off, and then it lines up really easy. I was surprised how easy it lines up. The second and third layer, they layered up just perfectly. The first layer, it wasn't quite perfect, but it was pretty darn close, so I was happy with that. So I'm going to take the center out of that star because there's like a decorative outline, and then my green suede is going to lay on top of my black suede. And I'll just put a little bit of glue on there, pat it off, and then line it up with the star. And then I will bring in the outside layer, which is just a decorative piece. And we'll get some glue on there and get it laid down, and then we'll have black, green, and red that will be the topper for our tree. And it went together pretty easy too. Okay, so now we're ready to assemble this tree, and I'm going to put the decorative pieces on before I add the layers to the different levels of the tree. Still just trying to be really careful with it. And I was kind of zoomed in there, so hopefully you can see it. And they laid down nicely and adhered very nicely. I wasn't sure how, it would work, but it's really pretty. And there was a little piece of that double-sided tape sticking off there, so I just cut it off. Looks like the wind is picking up outside. The trees are really starting to blow, so I think the storm is probably heading in. So we'll get this middle layer, decorative layer laid down, and then we'll do our smallest one. And I did fill my glue bottle before I got started because I was running low and I had been fighting with it. So I did take a minute. I took a minute and I filled my glue bottle. I cleaned my scissors. I took some alcohol and cleaned my scissors and got all, any sticky off. And what else did I do? I think that's pretty much it. But I was pretty happy that I took the time to do that because there are a couple things I've been struggling with lately. Sticky scissors and empty glue bottle. So those layered up beautifully, and I think it looks really pretty. We don't have a glue mess or anything. You can see the back of that. I have a lot of that tape on there because I just taped it. And I'm just going to tape my start at the top and straighten it up. And I kind of get it stuck to my desk. There we go. It looks really pretty. So we've got our tree here, and I'm ready to start building our card base. So I'm just going to bring in a top folding A2 size card, score it with my bone folder, and I have decided that I'm going to use some of that black suede for a background layer. And I didn't want to waste it because I love it. And so I die cut the center out, and I've saved that so that I'll have that for later because I love the suede paper, and I don't have a lot of it. My friend Daria had sent me several different colors, and I've been using it. And I love it, and I want to make the most of it. And then I use this embossing folder here from Spellbinders. It's called Hexy Snowflakes, and I trimmed it down, and I'm going to just layer it up here. And I'm just going to use some glue and glue it down, get it lined up and glue it down. And I got it laid down there fairly nice. I'll straighten it up and get it laid down there real nice and neat. And I think it looks really pretty with that black suede around there. And then I'm just going to take my bone folder and just kind of give it a light press just to get my glue to adhere. And I'm going to offset this tree because I'm going to bring in a sentiment. I had brought in these Better Press sentiments that are called All Season Winter. And I die cut all of them out. They say Let It Snow, Snuggle Season, Snow Much Fun, Christmas Time, Sugar Plum Wishes, and Most Wonderful Time. And I did all of them, and I used, I think, the Mulberry ink, Better Press ink. I actually used some Canson watercolor paper and did my pressing on that, and it worked out just fine. So I've got that laid down on there, and I'm going to use Christmas Time, and I'm going to kind of let it hang off the tree because I don't have enough room there for everything. And so I just brought in I needed some thicker strips, so I brought in some shaker strips, split it in half. I'm going to use the smallest side because this is a fairly fine sentiment here, and get this laid down on here, and then I'll put glue on the other half of it, and we'll put the glue side on the tree side, and then we'll just stick it down. And it leveled up really nice. So we'll get this laid down on there. And I really wish I still had some of those Spellbinders black enamel dots, but I have used them all up. And so I went on search of some enamel dots, and I found some dark green that had a little bit of sparkle to them. And so I'm going to lay 3 of those down on here. And I struggle with how to lay my enamel dots down, and I just put them in a line. There was like a big blank spot in that embossed folder where I could fit that big one, and so I put it in there, and then I just found a line to where I could go down consecutively in size and just line them up. And so that's what I did with that. But I was real pleased with how this card turned out. It's a clean, simple card, but I think the suede paper really makes it stand out. I really like it. And so I'm going to arrange my dot there, and that'll finish it up. So thanks for watching. I hope you like it. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.